See, look, you can add a dog to the show. It's Scooby.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have a dog on our show.
See?
And we got views. We get people like us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Queer Peer Reviews. Today is going to be very exciting because we're going to be reviewing one of my favorite shows on Netflix, which is Sandman.
Whoa, guys, we're not reviewing Sandman today. That is next week. Today we're reviewing Velma.
What?
I thought it was time. I thought it was finally time.
So, welcome to Queer Peer Reviews. We review media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Bruce, and it's my co-host, Justin. We just been told that we got to review Velma, so.
Here at Queer Peer Reviews, we review your favorites and not so favorites. Queer media, film, video games, and TV shows, and all that. So,
yeah. Well, let's get into it. Fine. Velma. It's a show that exists.
It was aired on a network.
On a network that goes by one name now.
Yes.
I guess we have to really.
There were characters and animators who were paid to make this. They were paid money, actual physical, tangible currency to make this show.
Animators' skills were put to waste on something that I don't even call it writing. I've seen better writing at a pre-K essay than anything I've ever seen. ChatGPT could write better than that. And that's me as someone who hates AI when it comes to artistry. Now, although I would not call this artistry, but if we want to go deep dive into this, fine. So, some lady who thought that she was better than everybody said, hey, I want to make a show based on Scooby-Doo, but instead it's not going to be anything about Scooby-Doo, and I'm just going to make all the characters basically nothing like Scooby-Doo. And the dog Scooby-Doo isn't even in there.
You know, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mascot character. Just get rid of him. Get rid of him. Makes perfect sense.
It's like
perfect sense.
The writing is like if Mindy thought of random shit in her real life and thought, oh, let me put it in the show. Now, and as they say, like, oh, it's what's the word?
Like stream of consciousness.
Yeah, stream of. Now, not saying like, oh, you can always like say a message. Only if it works. She just says it like in any situation, which she can, like any opportunity. Even the most dire state, she'll say some random bullshit. I'm like, what?
It's so interesting to me because the original show, from what I remember as a kid growing up, and even the variations on the show were basically all just a variation of a group of friends goes out on a journey to like solve a mystery and wacky antics ensue, but it's always arguably the same thing. A group of friends go out in a van with a dog to solve mysteries. And there was the jokes where they mentioned Scooby-Doo, but in the stupidest way possible. Yeah, it was
like, oh, we have Project Scooby, and then she's like, oh, what is Scooby-Doo? I think I wanted to break my TV at that point. And then the idea of like, so like it's been canonicized now that Velma is gay, and Mindy Kelly does it horribly. I don't know how.
I remember growing up in the early 2000s and watching like shows get like 14 different variations on themselves because they were making money for the for like the company that they were under, right? So you have like Looney Tunes, and then you have Looney Tunes Babies, and then you have Lunatics and all this stuff, and they're weird. And
Looney Tunes show too.
That was not like them, but they work.
They work. like the Looney Tunes show. Remember they were like more modernized and adult look, and I liked it. I liked the show. I as a kid, it was still funny to me. Just them living their normal lives.
New and different doesn't necessarily be bad. I would argue I didn't really like Teen Titans Go, but there are moments in it that work. And as a show, I understand why it exists. I don't understand how this got a season 2. How did this get a season 2?
It got now season 2.
What happened? It got a season 2. Everyone hated it. I remember watching reviews and it was just like, nope, no good.
I remember when we were watching it together for this episode, we took like I think like an episode break in between those episodes with like something better. I think.
Yeah.
We did that because we couldn't just take it all in at once. We had to just take breaks in between because it was too horrible.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. It was oof.
I don't think there was even a plot. I lost the plot.
I remember
immediately.
there was this whole idea that there's a mystery to solve about
some
Velma's
murder.
mom, and then it becomes this like huge big conspiracy, and you're like, why did it need to go like this? And then they have all the relationship stuff, and it doesn't work because you don't care about any of the characters. You don't care if anybody hooks up with whoever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And
None of this matters.
There's no build up to any of the character development. By the way, there's no build up to like the relationship.
Things just kind of happen.
It just did, and
Things
it's like
just happen at random, and things that need to happen for the story to go a certain way just happen magically. I would argue that there's also shows, right, that are so bad that they're good. This is not one of them.
This is not.
There are shows, there are films, there's video games that have a more like actual absurdist sort of feel to them than this game. You know what I mean? Like there's so there's so much. So many more things
I will say
that
this.
you could spend your time doing.
So, because it's queer peer reviews, we also have to see on the queer representation of things, if we can call it representation.
Yeah.
So, like I said, as I said before, Velma, in the Canonicized Generalized, she is gay. And the way, like I said, it was written is like, it didn't, like I said, it just felt like it happens like, okay, so like in the story, I guess like Daphne and Velma had like a beef kind of, right?
The first episode, it reminds me very much of, what was that other show, Riverdale, where they like try to like make some sort of, comment on the fact that like, ooh, girl on girl kissing, isn't that weird? And like nudity in the first episode for the sake of shock value. And like it doesn't land because it's like a constant series of jabs at the medium and at the viewer and at the like, the base of people watching the show. It's just constantly jabbing at it and like calling people like man children and like incel this and that, and it's like, okay, I guess we're allergic to viewers or something. Like it was very strange, but there's this tone throughout the show that like they want to be counterculture, but they don't do anything interesting. They don't do anything counterculture. They make a bunch of things that anyone who's watched television, as long as, assumably you and I have, like, it's nothing. There's nothing of value or substance with characters. There are no real characters in this show, and as a result, you cannot have a deeply interesting character-based romantic narrative plot. Romances come and go like drinking water. It's nothing. It's all air.
Yeah, and it was like, and then when they tried to build a relationship, it was like too quick. And then I think they grabbed their hands and then they started like looking at each other like. There was like I said, no build up. It was like they hate each other, and then next thing you know, they grab hands and suddenly they fall in love. I'm like,
yeah, there's like this forced thing where they backtrack and backpedal and go like, oh, we were friends when we were younger, and it's like I would have loved to see at least some friendship. I don't think anybody's even friends in this show. No. The family dynamics are pretty terrible too. Like the dad is being really like rude to his own fucking daughter.
They made Fred a bitch, which I don't like. If you watch Mystery Incorporated, which is 100%
you watch
better.
any iteration of this show,
anything.
They're friends and they're likable people.
Yeah, they're likable. I would argue that Mystery Incorporated is a way better show to spend your time with.
Yeah.
So, even that other show that before this, the Cartoon Network that everybody was bashing on, that now everybody likes now because how bad Velma was.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. We'll put it in the. Was it?
What's up, Scooby-Doo?
That's the one. Yeah.
What's new?
The one that everybody thought looked a little bit like the style was weird. The comedy was actually a lot way better in there.
Oh, of course. They tried. They tried to make something decent, and it was different, but it was okay.
Astronomically better
Yeah,
than Velma.
because they kind of at least honored the material in the sense of the core values of the show. It's an absolute mess. It's a whole mess. The show is just a mess.
As much as we would love to deep dive into more representation, there wasn't not of good writing to even bring up much of that representation.
There are shows. I feel like Shameless maybe is a show where like you have characters that are LGBT who do kind of fucked up things. This is, I mean, you can have cartoons and still have real people. We reviewed Tokyo Godfathers, and those cartoon characters feel real. They feel like real people in the real world. This doesn't feel like a funny cartoon where people are absurd, and it also doesn't feel like a cartoon where people are made to feel realistic. It feels like nothing, like we're saying. It feels like they just, I don't know, like they wrote some sort of weird alien creature that doesn't understand how to properly emote in any conceivable way. And so the relationships that happen in the show functionally and fundamentally do not work. And so, like I said, there are so many other shows that you can be watching that are gonna give you a better understanding of queer culture, queer characters, and queer romances. You know, there's so many better shows, especially in this day and age. Yeah.
There you go, Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn is one.
Yeah.
Owl House is one.
I guess the ratings.
Yeah, let's get to those ratings.
And on to the QPR ratings, where we have 5 categories, and each will be rated from 1 to 10.
First up, representation.
And for representation, I give it a
1.
1 because
They're there.
Velma was gay.
They technically
That was it.
exist.
They did it. They did.
On a technicality, you get a 1.
You get a 1. There you go. All right.
Can't say that it didn't happen. It did happen.
It just happened. And next up, queer comfort.
And for queer comfort,
I give it a 0.5.
I gave it a 0. I cannot imagine somebody watching this show and being like, wow, I identify with these characters and I feel seen. And if you do, I weep for you. I weep for you, genuinely. Bottom of my heart. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It was gay. That was it. I don't know why I gave it more than that.
That was gay to you? That show was gay? Okay. Next up, we will be rating the writing.
The question is, what writing? And for writing, we give it a 0.
I give it a 2.
Wow.
I give it a 2.
Why? Because there was some writing in there?
I'm assuming because there was more than one goddamn writer in there. Because if one writer wrote this, it wouldn't work. Like, it fundamentally wouldn't work because it would be so, what's the word? It would be so opinionated that it wouldn't work. The fact of the matter is, they're writing different perspectives, and I can give them some credit in that regard, that they're trying to have characters that, because they don't all feel the same. All the characters feel different. They all feel terrible, but they all feel distinctly terrible in their own terrible ways. So I can give them that credit, but the writing is not, like, a 5 is normal. A 5 is like mid. Like, a 5 is something is happening here. Nothing was happening, and not only was nothing happening, it was happening like poorly. It was happening in a bad direction. So there was writing, and there was more than one writer on the crew, and the characters felt different, but they all felt awful, and the story itself did not functionally work. And so it is a 2. It's 2 at best.
I like to bet that there were some writers and they just quit when they saw how it was gonna go. That was my guess.
At the very least, they paid their writers. You know, pay your writers.
I think 2 is the most generous. It's a little too generous.
It's under a 5, man. It's not generous.
All right, and now for originality.
All right, so for originality in general, overall,
I give it a
0.4.
0.4. Oh, 0.4. You could have put the 0 there.
Yeah, no.
0 would have been too much.
That's too much effort. No, I'm not putting effort into this.
Is it 2.5?
I put it. You know what? I've changed the scale. That's what's happened here. I went. You know how we go from 1 to 10? Now I'm going through the decimal point 1 to 10.
We're going
That's
below
where we
1.
are. We went back. We went so far back because
I say 2.5 because it's an original. It's just horrible original.
they took lovable characters that have been beloved for decades, and they somehow managed to jazz it all up. To jazz it up so bad that we had to take palate cleansers throughout the viewing of this show. Like,
we watched Craig in the Creek.
Yeah.
Each episode just to feel.
Oh my goodness.
A kid's writing was better than the adult writing.
That's oh my goodness. The fact that I had to go back and we had to like break it down at the decimal level. I don't like doing that. I don't like breaking it down and like trying to make it like even more miasmic than it already is. It's just not good. It's just not
Some might argue that might be still too much.
Yes, they might. They genuinely have a genuine argument.
Do we
it
have
would probably be better written than this show.
Ouch.
I genuinely apologize to the people that have their professional careers smirched by this show. And I hope that they all find something better and more enjoyable in their lives to do. Mindy, if you're watching this, get some help.
I thought you were going to
Get
say
some help. Go home.
Okay.
Sleep it off.
We're still on originality. We're not in overall yet. That sounds like an overall.
Please stop doing this anymore. Please.
Okay.
Don't hurt us like this, please. Finally, our overall score.
Overall, I give it a.
It is 100% a waste of your damn time.
So is that like a 0? It's a 0.
It's a fat 0. Do not watch this show. Watch our show. Watch our shorts. Go watch our watch our friends' channel.
Our TikTok reels.
Yeah, our
more
TikTok.
entertaining.
Watch our Instagram. That's what you want. That's what you want. Because this is a fat 0 and 100% a waste of your damn time.
Some may say this show was probably homophobic itself.
Yeah, it put us back. Couple hours, to be fair. Only a couple hours, but it still put us back.
My heart's go out to the animators. They animated this well. It's just, it shouldn't be this animated that well for that type of writing. I hope you guys get a better show to animate purposely. So, let's see our QPR total from Jamie. Hit us with that gay shit.
All right, guys. I think we have a new record here. Velma has a whopping total of 9.4 out of 100.
Didn't even get to 10.
Didn't even make it a 10.
Didn't even make it
Your
10.
decimal caused that.
Yeah.
Your decimal caused that.
We're really trying to help you out here. Don't waste your time. Watch our show. Watch the shows we recommend. Don't watch this
And
show.
if you go in the
don't give them more time
and
money.
Listen, if you go in the comments and start demanding season 2, I want to say personally, that better be about like 10,000 likes right there before we even touch season 2.
Yeah, you're gonna have to donate.
You have to get our subscribers up and all that before we can touch season 2.
You have to donate to the Trevor Project at least $1 million.
If you send us a receipt that you donated $10,000 to Trevor Project right now, we'll do season 2.
Just so that you can pay me for the time that I had to spend watching this thing. So I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Feel free to watch it again if you really want to. If you want to help us out, if you want to help people who care, please do.
Please subscribe to QPR, and remember we have the link downstairs for the Trevor Project. And if you ever want to see us review or more horrible shows like this, please
think
follow.
again. Just think again. Subscribe again. Tell your friends to subscribe, and then think about your choices in life, about how your choices affect the people you care about. Think clearly, and take the time to go out, touch some grass.
And if you're a writer who wants to do shows like this, I guarantee you will do this 100% better than this show.
Yeah. Honestly, make an indie project. Do something, from home. Make something of your own, because it will absolutely do better than this. Without question. Without question, please. I'd love to review that. I'd love to see it. I love seeing new things, new personal projects.
All right. Well, thanks for watching.
Wait, one more thing. I just wanted to recommend 3 more shows for you. Well, there are quite the assortment that I could recommend, but I'll just limit it to these 3. Number 1, Our Flag Means Death. It is quite an interesting watch. I won't spoil it here. Perhaps we might review it. Who knows? Leave a comment, perhaps a like. Number 2, What We Do in the Shadows. It is quite a dark tale of blood and vampires. We could review that too, if you let us know. And last, but definitely not least, another anime that is quite queer. Yuri on Ice. It is a story of skaters, lovers, and the cold stares that they exchange. Enjoy.
Justin,
Ta-ta for now.
what are you doing in my house?
I'm not here.
Get the fuck out of my house!